thank you for watching the play on How Big is a Foot?
Written and illustrated by Rolf Myler. Once upon a time, there lived a king and his wife, the queen. They were a happy couple, for they had everything in the world. However, when the queen's birthday came near, the king had a problem.
What can I give my wife? The queen.
The king thought and he thought and he thought, until suddenly he had an idea.
I know! I will give the queen a bed.
The queen did not have a bed because at the time, bed had not been invented. So even someone who had everything did not have a bed. The king then set out to get help to make a bed for the queen. He summoned for the prime minister.
I need you to make a bed for the queen for her birthday.
Your Majesty, right away.
The prime minister didn't know what to do, so he enlisted some help. He summoned the chief carpenter.
I need for you to make a bed for the queen at once.
Yes, sir, Prime Minister, right away.
The chief carpenter didn't know what to do, so he enlisted some help. He summoned for the apprentice.
Apprentice, you must make a bed for the queen at once.
Yes, sir, but I have a question. How big is a bed?
That is a good question.
The chief carpenter called the prime minister. The prime minister called the king.
Your Majesty, how big is a bed?
That is a good question.
The king thought and thought and thought until suddenly he had an idea.
I know! The bed must be big enough to fit the queen.
The king called the queen and told her to put on her new pajamas and to lie on the floor.
Queen, you must be very still. I'm going to walk around you and measure you.
You may be wondering why the king didn't use a ruler. Well, like the bed rulers had also not been invented.
Thank you, Queen. You may leave.
Goodbye, King. By the way, shall I have the chef prepare blackbird pie for dinner tonight?
Yes, that would be delightful. Prime Minister? This is the king. The bed must be 3 feet wide and 6 feet long to fit the queen. That includes the crown, because sometimes the queen likes to sleep in her crown.
The prime minister called the chief carpenter, and the chief carpenter called the apprentice.
Apprentice, the bed must be 3 feet wide and 6 feet long to fit the queen and her crown.
Thank you, sir. I will get started on the bed right away. When the apprentice finished the bed, the king came. When the apprentice finished the bed, the king came at once to see the masterpiece.
This is beautiful. I can't wait for the queen's birthday. I must give her this bed at once.
The king called the queen.
Queen, please come close your eyes.
I'm so excited.
Open.
What is it?
It's a bed, a much more comfortable place to sleep at night. Wouldn't you agree? Please lie down and test it out.
It's very nice, but I think it's a bit too small. The king was furious. He called the prime minister called the chief carpenter. The chief carpenter called the janitor.
Apprentice, you are under arrest. The king has commanded that you must go to jail because you have embarrassed him.
Why, was the bed too small? I did just what the king wanted. I measured 3 feet wide and 6 feet long.
I don't know. I'm just following the king's orders.
The apprentice thought and thought until suddenly she had an idea. Jailer, I can make a bed for the queen. I have an idea.
What is your idea?
My feet must be smaller than the king's foot. That is why the bed was too small. If we call the sculpture, then he can make a model of the king's foot. I can use that model to make a bed for the queen.
The jailer called the chief carpenter. The chief carpenter called the prime minister. The prime minister then explained all of this to the king.
Hello, Your Majesty. This will only take 1 minute while I measure your foot. Thank you, Your Majesty. Goodbye.
The model of the king's foot was sent to the jail and given to the apprentice.
This is perfect. I know I'll make a perfect bed for the queen now.
The bed was finished just in time for the queen's birthday.
Queen, here is your birthday present. Please lie down.
This is wonderful. What a perfect gift. There's even room for my crown. This is the nicest gift I shall ever receive.
Apprentice, you have made me and the queen very happy. I'm going to make you a royal princess.
Thank you, King.
The king then ordered a big parade, and all of the townspeople came out and cheered for the former apprentice. From that day on, whenever somebody wanted to measure something, they'd use a copy of the king's foot. When somebody said, "My bed is 3 feet wide and 6 feet long," they knew exactly how big it was.
We hope you enjoyed How Big is a Foot?